Hello and welcome to BCC Virtual Racing. Tonight's race, La Guardia Loop in New York. Short, fast and furious 6 laps of 2.8 kilometers, totaling 18.3k in all. So this is going to be a fast and quick race. A rolling terrain, a total of 182 meters of climbing. 182 meters of climbing, about 27 meters per lap. So no particularly steep hills, largely flat, but undulating up and down. Starting tonight in category B, as usual, which has a total of 12 riders from BCC, 4 in the A's, 7 in the C's, and lowly 1 in category D from Andy Telford. And the course tonight will favour the large riders, I've no doubt about that. So Lancier and Campbell in there, finished next to each other on, well, in order at least, next to each other on Monday evening. In fact, the pair of them, I think, attacked each other on a number of occasions, but it was Campbell in the end that won that. And it was Matt Tom that won the overall race in a time of 50 minutes 31 seconds. That was the Everything Bagel course. Khalik again wins category B, a little bit ahead of Davis. Perhaps he's been taking advice from him in terms of how to just squeeze in under that 3.99 watts. Let me just move my camera a bit. There we are. And let's move over actually now to the start so that I don't miss that. So I'll try and capture everyone crossing the line this evening, but as it's multi-lap, 6 laps and fast and short, 18k, it will be interesting to see what happens. In fact, there we are, first rider on the course already. The 2 different fields just joining, all riders starting together, A, B, C and D, but with Lancier now at 600 watts I just saw there, so already pushing out significant power. Will take a few minutes to settle, but he'll be hoping to take advantage of this course fairly quickly. And let's just have a look, and already you can see, look at the course spreading out, 208 riders in total. There's Telford right on the heels of Lancier. That won't last for long, but nonetheless this is what happens in the start of these races. And you can see within 25 seconds the riders are already spread out over about 300 meters I'd say. Empson there on screen just behind Lancier, just in front of Lancier, sorry. I returned to racing for him, haven't seen him for the last couple of weeks I think, but should do well. And riders we haven't seen for a while, Ketley's back in there too. And who else have we got? Angus Stoneham for the A's, right up the front I would imagine at the moment. And on screen now, in fact, it looks as if Davis is ahead of Lancier. Campbell is as well. See if we can find those riders. There's Davis and Campbell right next to each other, 1 kilometre in now. So this is the lead-in part of the course. It's 1.6k long and then 6 laps of 2.8 kilometres. Little 4% ramp here. And these ramps will tire the riders. There are quite a number of them in this rolling course, and they're approaching now. You can see on the moving map on the top right, there's one of the sprint banners. And, well, oh, there is Lisa, I think it was. Yes, there is Lisa, has ridden the last few races with category B. I suspect she'll try and hold on to the front of the A cats as long as she can, but is very comfortable sitting with the fast B riders. And let's have a look up the front, see what is going on. Can't see Stoneham there unless someone else can. And that is the first rider. So Campbell in about 10th place overall at the moment. Not sure where Stoneham is. Have a quick look backwards and see if we could see his name popping up in the field. No sign of him yet. I'm sure he'll be there somewhere, but at the moment it looks like Stevenson is out front for BCC. And there's Matt Tom, actually I just saw him creeping further forward in the field, so a little bit early to be making any predictions for tonight's race. Danes is in there as well, so I can see Danes, Tom, Stevenson, and there is the man of the moment, Kalik, looking for another win. He is in this group. Can't see him on the rider list, he just disappeared for a moment, but I'm sure he'll be back. I would like to have a quick look at him there. Lancia and Campbell still together. Davis in there as well at 2.7k. Now the riders have entered lap 1 of this 6-lap course. Well, we'll assume they're all in there. No sign of Stoneham, which is a surprise, but he might be there. Tough at 2.9k in category C. Langen just behind Taff in this same group. Haven't seen Langen race for some time, so hopefully he's well rested. And there is Reed. Actually, he didn't race on Monday evening. Again, actually, as is fairly typical with him, he looks to be at risk of becoming isolated. There is a group behind him. So without him on Monday's race, he has traditionally almost won every Cat C race for BCC, but failing his lack of appearance on Monday evening. Of course, the race was won by Nixon, who I think is racing tonight. Yes, he is, so never mind. You've got to try and keep up with Reed. Just behind Reed is Mayhew Smith and Ketley, so this is an interesting one. So Ketley and Mayhew Smith riding with a Cat C rider, Chris Reed, who is rapidly approaching an upgrade to Cat B, but I think really Mayhew Smith and Ketley really should be pushing on at this stage. I think they're probably falling a little bit behind, but that may not be any reflection on their ability. They may just have missed a break for a group, and it is just the start of the race, so a long way to go yet. Moving further back in the field, I think I saw someone there. I thought I saw Shannon, but there he is in fact. Shannon at 3.9k, 5 minutes 18 seconds into the race, with a small group of about 5 or 6 riders, with another large group catching up rapidly from behind. And in that group I think we'll find Littlewoods. Now Littlewood's an interesting rider, getting stronger and stronger. It finished about 30 seconds ahead of Shannon on Monday night's race, so he'll be hoping to do the same again. Just approaching the sprint banner now. And further back in the field, there is Nixon. At the moment, I think about a minute behind Reed, his main competition in category C. And I think the best he can hope for is that Reed goes over par and gets upgraded. And that's the last he'll see of him in category C. But then Nixon is not that far away himself. Average 2.7 watts, 2.7 watts on Monday night's race, watts per kilo. So a little bit to go yet, but he is getting stronger. Tamsin there at 4.5k. And behind her, let's have a look, see who we can find. There's Telford, category D, the only rider I believe in Cat D at the moment, at 4.3k. We'll just have a little look further back, because I expect there's some, in fact there they are, Cat C riders. Peter Jones at 4.3 kilometers, 6 minutes 30 into the race. 6 seconds behind him is Dave Morton. Now I would expect Peter Jones to finish ahead of Andy Telford. I'm just looking for a comparison from Monday evening. Now both riders weren't riding, or at least both weren't in the race together. And Morton has just picked up a PR at 4.4 kilometers, 7 seconds now behind Peter Jones. And behind Morton there, just looking for Cullen. Hopefully he's not on a TT bike tonight. Let's just check. No, he's on a road bike. But now he is all by himself as he reaches 4.2k and the sprint banner. Now on Monday evening, let's have a look. He was some distance ahead of Morton, in fact quite a considerable distance ahead, but at the moment he is behind, and he's behind Telford as well, so I hope everything's okay. He's pushing out 300 watts, which is well over FTP for him, so it's not from a lack of effort. So we'll come back to him. If he keeps this up, he will gain ground rapidly. He's about 27 seconds behind Morton at this stage, and up at the front of the field, Davis 6.7k already. Now just about to enter the second lap, I think. So I saw Kalik there as well, sneaking ahead of Davis. Finding it difficult to actually click on him, he's moving around so much. Stevenson's still there. Let's have a look at the front and just check. There is Tom and Danes together right at the very front of the field, and behind them, can we spot anyone on the road? Not at this stage. So both of these riders settling into race pace. Matt Tom at about 4.4 watts per kilo, averaged on Monday 4.5, and he will know that, of course, so he's got a little bit more. Danes prefers the hillier courses, but nonetheless is a Cat A rider now, so no reason why he can't do well. And behind them, those two riders I should say, still can't click on him. There he is, the man of the moment. Kalik fancies his chances again, and quite rightly so. Rumours are still rife that he's been promoted to team principal, or team lead I should say, not team principal. I'm not sure if that's true, but if we see Davis step down in the near future as captain of Team B, we'll know what's happened. But nonetheless, Lancia getting stronger and stronger. Sorry, Kalik getting stronger and stronger. But still with him, Davis. Campbell is there as well. This is a course that should suit Campbell. Very consistent rider. All together. Campbell, Davis, Kalik, Tom, Stevenson, Lancia is there as well. All just swapping back and forward in this group at 8.3 kilometers in, 10 minutes 40 seconds. Fairly flat section of the course, but as I mentioned earlier, it does undulate up and down fairly regularly. So these riders all together. Let's see where the first split happens. It's about here, this group 27 seconds further back. And do we have any BCC riders in it? We do indeed. Taff, Empson are in group 2. Why Taff is in Cat C, I'm not really sure. He's a stronger rider than that. Looks as if he's been demoted. Empson, I would have expected to hang on to the front a little bit longer, but at 270 watts he's not hanging around, and that is, he is fairly pushing it. But again, may just be one of the brakes that caught him unawares. So Taff and Empson 27 seconds behind the leading group, and behind them, the next rider on screen looks like Mayhew, Smith and Reed. Together they are 5 seconds further back, in fact. So that just ahead of them on screen now is the group with Empson in it. Mayhew Smith at 2.7 watts per kilo. Chris Reed at 3.3. Keckley's in there as well, as is Langen, just beginning to drop off a little bit by the looks of it from Langen. In fact, there is Langen, just dropped off at the back of the group, making a little push here to try and get back on. Heartbeat up at 173, so he's trying hard, and now is the time to really push hard, because if you lose it now, You're not going to get back on. Looks as if Ketley's drifting off the back as well. No, he's coming back to the group now. It must have just been that little undulation. So the task for Ketley and Langen is to beat Reed and Mayhew Smith as well, I should say. I don't think Mayhew Smith, the way he's been riding recently, is going to stay ahead of Ketley. He could well stay ahead of Langen, but the question mark again is Reed, who finished in the last race that I saw him race on Thursday. I think he finished ahead of Ketley, if I'm not mistaken, but I need to check whether both riders were riding. But he rode exceptionally well. And don't forget, I think, I'm not sure for tonight's race, but he is probably the largest rider on the course at 110 kilos. And then, just in case you're wondering if he's in odd shape, he's very tall as well. So a tall, powerful rider. These undulations should suit him well. Langen is drifting. He didn't make it by the looks of it. Has made that effort to try and catch up with Ketley and co. Ketley and Reed and Mayhew Smith, but hasn't managed to do it. So he now finds himself drifting off the back, 16 seconds further back from the group ahead, and needs to make a decision rather rapidly about what to do about it. There is no one of real value immediately behind him. At least 10, I would reckon 30 seconds is the next group behind him, and that includes Littlewood and Shannon. Littlewood's now caught up with Shannon at 9.9k, 14 minutes into the race. Littlewood will be looking to stay ahead of Shannon, and I'm sure Shannon will be looking to stay ahead of Littlewood. Shannon, the more experienced rider. And size-wise and just general power, last race Monday, Littlewood averaged 3.3 watts per kilo, Shannon 2.9. And Shannon is about 7 kilos heavier than Littlewood. And right with them, I hadn't spotted earlier, is Nixon actually, so he is riding well. I think obviously Reed is now, must be 35 seconds further ahead, but Nixon seems to have settled well into this group with Ketley and Shannon. Ketley will be keen to stay ahead of a Group C rider and even catch up with Reed in Group C, but Nixon seems to be riding well at 225, 230 watts, heartbeat 143, which for him is slightly above his normal max average. So he is making a big effort here to stay with this group. Let's hope he can hold on to it. And behind Nixon, 28 seconds further back at this stage, 40 seconds further back. Can we see who is next? Peter Jones. So Jones has caught up with Telford and passed him, which was expected. Unfortunately, it means he is by himself with a chasing pack, but it looks as if he's just pulling away from them. 9.9k. Missed Cullen in the go around, but Tom right up at the front of the race now, 12.9 kilometers. 6k left to go. Are his fellow BCC riders still with him? Let's have a little look. Can't see any at the moment. Tom, yes, Kalik is there, fancies himself up the front. Kalik's there. I think I just saw Lancia, Stevenson. Campbell. Well, there's Cullen actually. Must have been lapped. Yes, he's just been lapped. Hence the reason he's just appeared on screen. Campbell and Davis. Now, are they still with the leading group? I think so. Just need to wait for the Zwift rider list to update. Campbell and Davis together at 13.1k. Let's see if we can sneak forward without ending up on anyone else. Hard to tell at this stage. In fact, there is a break here. So there we have Lancia, Kalik, Tom, all in the front group, and I'm sure Danes is still in there as well. I haven't seen him further back, can't see him on screen at the moment. They're now at 14.1k as they got this slight incline. And the question I really want to know, Davis and Campbell. No, Davis and Campbell have dropped away actually. So here they are now on screen. In fact, they I think are about 20 seconds behind the leading group. So already Kalik has beaten Davis and earns himself another I Beat Barry t-shirt. Whoever started that should be congratulated, but probably didn't expect it to happen so often. Here is Davis just overtaking Morton. Morton at 14, no, it can't be 14k, 11.3k, and now Davis at 14.2. Campbell still there with Davis. Campbell very capable of beating Davis when all is going well, and Stevenson is in there as well. Keeps changing her name on Zwift, so I'll just go by the last name of the rider shown. And it looks as if Cullen has been lapped as well by these riders, or yes, he has. Right, I think what we'll do now, as this, in fact, behind Davis, just a quick check. Empson, sure if Ketley's still here, but Taff is there with Empson. Where is Ketley? Reed seems to be Mayhew, Smith and Reed. Well, Mayhew Smith at 14.5k. Reed, in fact, there he is. Reed is pulling away from Mayhew Smith at 14.5 kilometers. Taff is 17 seconds ahead of Reed. So Reed continues to perform well, has left. Mayhew Smith is catching up with Taff as Taff drifts further back, unable to hold on to the faster group ahead of him. Ketley, no sign of. In fact, there is Ketley. No sooner had I said that. And now what I think I'll do is go straight, just passing Shannon there. If I can get round Nixon. Zwift will let me. I think we'll go straight to the front of this race, 16.2 kilometers. Otherwise it will get missed. So Tom holding 4.6 watts per kilo above his average, 320 watts at 16.5 kilometers, 21 minutes into this. Danes, I've just seen on screen, is right there. So is Kalik. Kalik was a little bit behind. How much behind? About 40 seconds behind Tom on Monday night's race, so it's unlikely he is going to beat him. A better competition might be Danes. Those two have raced on many occasions on Zwift, and also I've seen them both race up mountains in France in the real world. And I think on that occasion, I last remember when we did that, it was Danes that beat Kalik, but stranger things have happened. Lancia, in fact, I've just spotted, is still in there as well. So Lancia is riding exceptionally well. Now, if we get to the finish with Lancia, Tom, Kalik and Danes, this could be a good one. This could be a very good, fast finish for these riders. I think Tom will get there first, but out of Lancia and Kalik, I think I'll have to go for, oh, it's a difficult one. I think if they stay together in this last kilometre, Lancia, I think, has got the stronger sprint, so I'll make a punt for him. But anybody's guess, really. In fact, I'm just assuming Tom is still ahead, so I'm going to stay with Lancia and Kalik. That's where the action's going to be. Finish line not just coming into view now. Top right of the screen, the green arch. Total distance 18.3, so that is the finish line coming up. And it looks as if it's going to be a very large bunch sprint. How many riders in here? About 25 more maybe. Lancia and Kalik vying for position at this stage. Riders beginning to wind it up already. Lancia is behind Kalik, next to each other now. Danes and Tom are further ahead. Who's it going to be out of these two though? Lancia is up to 7.3 watts per kilo. Kalik at 6. Lancia moves past Kalik. Lancia's winding it up. Kalik's not able to hold on by the looks of it. Lancia's going for it. Kalik is giving up, in fact. That's it's just, Lancia's really pushing hard. And there is Kalik coming in, trailing behind Lancia almost, I would say. Next on course will be Davis. And Empson is still there with Davis. A great performance from him. I'm not sure where Campbell is. I would expect him to be in this group as well, unless I've missed that. So I have not seen. Oh, there's Campbell. So Campbell, Empson. Let's see what happens here. It's 18.1. Here we go for the sprint. Up this little kicker. Let's sit with Empson, so at least we can see what's going. In fact, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to sit with Campbell. There is Campbell on screen now. I heard it ahead of Stevenson. Stevens sitting right behind him. And at the moment it's Campbell. Davis is behind. Empson is behind. Stevenson is behind. And I think that was a win for Campbell, followed by Stevenson. Next on course will be Shannon. There's Ketley at 17.8. Chris Reed will be further ahead. I don't think I got time to get to him. Reed and Taff at 18.1. So Reed is struggling a little, but Taff's staying ahead, which is a great result from him. Also good performance from Chris Reed though. This has been a difficult race, and it looks behind him as if Mayhew, Smith and Co have closed the gap. It was wider than that. There is Taft just crossing a line at 9 watts per kilo, followed by Chris Reed. Here comes Ketley. Mayhew Smith has pulled away from Ketley. That's a surprise, but Ketley has got this perfectly timed sprint. He's not going to get ahead of Mayhew Smith, but nonetheless nice to see him sprinting when there's no other riders right next to him. And we should have Littlewood and Shannon. So Littlewood will be hoping to beat Shannon again. About 100 meters left. There's this little kick just before the finish, which is particularly annoying, but at the moment Langan and Shannon are ahead of Littlewood. It looks as if it's going to stay that way for now. Langan, Shannon, 18.4k. Here they go. Shannon, Langan first by the looks of it, followed by Shannon, then Littlewood on this occasion. I think Tamsin might well be the next category B rider across the line. But right with her is Nixon, so he seems to have ridden well today. .2. Here's this little 7% climb, exactly where you don't want it to be, and then it's about 200 meters from the top of this climb to the finish. Tamsin and Nixon. Nixon's pulling ahead, 4.8 watts per kilo, 4.9. Tamsin has not responded to this yet. A little bit now. Nixon's got to keep the power on though. Tamsin is responding slightly, but it's going to be Nixon that crosses the line ahead of Tamsin, I think, although she's just gone up to 5 watts per kilo. A little bit too late there, I think. And do we have any other BCC riders? Unfortunately, I don't think I can stay to the end of this particular race. There's Jones and Cullen together, so Cullen has closed the gap with Jones, which is a great result for him. Jones was pulling well ahead earlier, and they're now at 17.2k with 1 kilometre to go. So I didn't think I could actually record tonight's race at all, but timings, and because this is a very short race, have allowed me just to get the main action in. So I think for this evening I'm going to have to end it there. Thank you all for watching. Next race is on Monday evening. See you all then.